Hey guys, I'm back with my video response to episode 249. Yes, I'm back and it was well worth the wait. Apologies for not doing a video response for the bonus episode, but life gets ahead of you and things get busy. It's currently, what is the time? 11:30 in the evening, and it's the only time I get to do a lot of this stuff, so, but I thoroughly enjoy it and I thoroughly enjoyed the episode, so I'm just uninstalling stuff on my netbook. Aren't these things funny? I don't know why I bought this thing. I got it today, and I figured, when I'm on the train going to work and that sort of thing, I could do my emails, providing you actually get a seat. And I was going to get the MacPad. No, I call it the MacPad, not the iPad. But it's a bloody waste of money considering you have to buy most of the apps to do things, and I cannot type unless I have a keyboard. I don't look at the keys when I type, so I just can't do the whole screen type thing. It just upsets me. So anyway, so I can jump on the forum now, on the train, providing I get a seat. So let's just jump into this. Wow, my battery's really low. Got a few notes here that I make on my phone. And here we go. Let's start with the very first thing. PT, I checked out the Leonardo DiCaprio video. I thought that was pretty cool. That's actually a really well-written song. It makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to close this thing. It's distracting. Makes a lot of sense, and yeah, it's got a nice structure. The words sort of rhyme here and there and go with each other. It flows nicely. You've got quite the knack for writing songs, and it's pretty funny when I was listening to it the second time. I thought, oh yeah, that really would suck if you were supposed to get that part and you were just beaten by Leo. So, that was cool. And in no particular order, on my phone here, let's talk about the review that Steve Clark did. It's awesome to hear Steve Clark on a review, putting something in for the guys and everyone in the Bliss community on the podcast. So that's really, really cool. I'm glad that you're able to have that guitar and use it for a while. Martin's very generous to let you play it for so long. And I thought it was really cool. It was really honest and straight up review, which is what you want. You don't want any type of bullcrap, sort of saying, little bits here and exaggerating about parts of the guitar there. No, it was straight up. This is what it does. This is what it is. This is what I like about it. This is what I don't like about it. And yeah, I thought that was a really, really good review. A couple of nice sound samples. Really cool to hear that you got your recording system up and running, because I know you use Linux. And yeah, no, I really liked it. Also, in regards to that guitar, I really liked the video that Clint Searcy did with showcasing the guitar and sounds and that sort of thing. Martin's very, very lucky to win that competition. Also very lucky, I believe Dave Mack brought it back to the UK with him. Hand-delivered. What's next on my little list here? I'm just going to jump to the next thing, the Parker Fly. I want to talk about the Parker Fly. Now, I've played a lot of different guitars, which is why I will bag out or rag on a lot of guitars, because I just don't like them. I've given everything I can possibly give a go, tried out as many as possible before I settle on things. Some part of me thinks the reason why I like 25.5" scale length necks is because that's what I learnt on. I tend to overshoot a lot of frets if I do like Gibson scales and things like that. However, in this day and age, that is what I prefer. That's what I like. I like a thinner neck. I've got little tiny hands. And yeah, I generally like the bridge closer to the body. I'm not a big fan of Tune-o-matic bridges when your arm's really raised off the body there, which is the reason why in my Benford custom telly, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but the bridge is actually recessed. It's not as low as a Telecaster would be, but it's much lower than a standard sort of Tune-o-matic bridge would be, and which means there's no angle on the neck. So I'm not really a fan of that sort of thing. However, here's a story. So the very first time I played a Parker Fly, I've only ever played a couple. I wanted to buy my black Ibanez guitar, which is basically as good as it gets before you get to the prestige models. It's a Ibanez RG, and it actually has a neck through, which is, I guess, kind of rare for those models. So I had my heart set on it, tried one out in the music store, And they were a little bit rude, so I went to another music store, which are really, really cool guys. Let you touch everything, doesn't matter how expensive the guitar is. You want to crank up the amps, they'll come over and dime it for you. That's how cool they are. So I rang them up, said, I want to buy this. Can you do a good price? And it's like, yeah, you know, we'll throw $500 off the price. Like, whoa. And we all know that the mark prices are jacked up anyway, but it sort of made you feel good. It was Christmas time, so I went down there with a friend of mine. I went into this amp room. I don't know if I've told this story before, but there's this guy in there. His name's JJ. Sadly, the store's changed owners now and they don't have the same stuff. But anyway, JJ looks like Slash, straight out of the 80s. He's stuck in a time warp. He's got these tight black jeans, wears like singlet sort of tops, a couple of tattoos, long curly jet black hair, and he talks like he's stoned 24/7. He's a really, really cool guy. I was sitting in the amp room just having a look around, and he comes up and says, "Hey man, what are you... Just plug in. What are you doing? Just sitting here. Plug in. Just pick up guitar." So he picks up a, I'm not sure if it was a Flying V or Les Paul. This was a while ago, and throws it at me. I shit myself. Grab it to catch this monster of a heavy guitar, and then he hands me a lead, and he's like, "Plug in." Plugs into this half stack, cranks up the volume, and luckily in this room they've got these glass sort of sliding doors. It's a soundproof as it's going to get, I guess, for what they've got, but it's quite soundproof. So I'm there playing away, and my friend Chris is looking at me funny, like, you know, turn it down. So anyway, so we just start picking up guitars. And from all the guitars I played Les Pauls, Flying V's, a lot of Gibsons in that room for some reason. They had a couple of Washburns in there, Strats and that sort of thing. And then from playing all those guitars, I still preferred the Ibanez RG that I wanted. Maybe it was the shape of the neck, maybe that in particular Ibanez was set up really well. It was a fraction of the cost of all these other guitars in this amp room. So anyway, so my friend picks up a Parker Fly. I look at the price tag, it is $6,000. I thought, whoa, you know, what on earth is going on? When I went to grab the guitar, I couldn't believe the weight or how weightless it was. Now you grab something, you're sort of ready to, you know, grab the weight of that guitar, but it didn't have any weight. It was really well balanced actually, which is surprising, and really comfortable. You know, really, really comfortable. I'm not a fan of the upper horn, how it's sort of like on a rigid point. But if I had the money, I would have purchased that guitar. Like everyone says, it is effortless to play, so smooth. There is not one dead spot on that guitar. It is just so easy, such a joy to play. Plugged it in, and it had the piezo pickup in there and that sort of thing. And it was a real joy to play. But what happened was, when I picked up that Ibanez again, I couldn't play it anywhere near as well as I could play this Parker guitar. I couldn't play it at all compared to how I could play this guitar. And I was kind of discouraged at the time. I thought, you know, what's going on? Maybe this Ibanez guitar really is a cheap piece of rubbish. You know, like $1,000 really isn't that much for a good guitar here in Australia. So I just thought, well, you know, what do? So I purchased the guitar anyway, and I asked the guy, so like, you know, if I don't like this, when I get home, can I bring it back? He's like, yeah, you know, if it's not damaged or anything, you can bring it back and for a refund. Okay. So anyway, I went home and I started doing research on Parker guitars, and I had no idea they used stainless steel frets. I didn't know it was an epoxy, glass epoxy fingerboard and things like that, or had a composite sort of, I guess, seal all over the whole back of the guitar. I had no idea. And then when I realized, and I thought, you know, that really is worth the price. Well, is it really $6,000? But that is worth the high price. That is worth the quality that was into this thing. It was absolutely flawless. I've wanted one ever since, but I can't justify that type of money. There's not a big second-hand market here in Australia, and I'm kind of wary about second-hand instruments, as generally what I've found is a lot of people, I guess around here, it's not everywhere, don't really take care of them. So, however, Parker, best guitar I've ever played. Sorry, Steve. So anyway, enough about that, because I could ramble on about them forever. I know you're loving this, Larry. What is next on my list here? Let's talk about the tube amp kits. Yes, tube amp kits. I actually am in possession of a tube amp. I put up on the forum and luckily someone was kind enough to say they knew the original designer of it, and they could help me out, as it's like a twin channel tube head from the 60s. The brand is Vardis, it's an Australian brand, and one channel works fine, the other channel doesn't work at all. I don't know if it's the tubes, I don't really know what else it is. I don't know anything about amplifiers, and quite frankly I don't really want to poke around with, in Australia we run off 240 volts, with 240 volts live round in there. Luckily Dave Mack's given me a few tips on how to discharge capacitors, so yeah, however, the other idea my friend and I have had, it's not my amplifier, it's a friend of mine. He inherited it from his father-in-law and wants it to work properly. Like I said, one channel works fine, the other one doesn't. So the idea we had is, and this came to me as soon as I heard the podcast, is let's put a 5-watt amplifier kit in it. At the moment it's 30 watts per channel, two completely independent channels, but then they go to one speaker cap, go figure. So I was like, you know, we'll put a 5-watt amp in this thing, and he's got this head, and the head's about that big, and it's got the matching 4x12 cab. Well, why not? And I think that is a great idea, and I would definitely consider buying the mod kits. Now, this isn't for me, so I've got to convince my friend to spend the money on it. But if it was mine, I would definitely, for 200, what was it, 220 bucks or whatever. Jeez, that is amazing, amazing to get that kind of amp. So I think that was really cool, and Pappy, I'm sure that, you know, once you got down to it, a little bit more fiddling around, you'd be able to figure it out. But yes, you do need a multimeter. Here's a real cheap one. This is $5. $5. I use this thing all the time. I have got a much better one, which was about $80. But I still go back to this thing. You know, it's simple. It's other ones like automatic and weird and too many buttons on it. So, but yeah, I'm quite confident that you would have figured it out, and yeah, I think it's really cool. In regards to, you're talking about neatness of an amplifier and wiring it up, that just comes with time. It depends on how pedantic you are, how anal retentive you are. And a lot of the pedals, like the pedal I gave you, Pappy, that's a wiring mess. However, with the ones that I actually made for myself, they're neat as hell. So it just depends, I guess, on how much time you're willing to put into it, how pedantic you're supposed to be. And one other thing, if anyone is going to get into building anything themselves, I highly recommend, I'm just going to grab it here, you get yourselves one of these. Now, this is just a cheap one. This is like 30, 40 bucks. It is a wire stripper. A wire stripper. You put the wire in and it strips it to the exact length. One action, pull the trigger, it's done. The best investment I've ever made. It's just made life so much easier. No more getting at blades, scissors, side cutters, box cutters, whatever you want to call them, tin snips. It just makes life so much easier and speeds up the process. Because if you think about it, you spend a good amount of time stripping wires when you can just grab that tool and just bang, 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 they're all done. Don't have to think about it. You can cut them to the exact length you want. And if you have to strip a wire that's only about that long, like an inch long, that is a pain in the ass if you're doing it with scissors. But if you've got the right tools, then you can do it easily, get them all the right length, make it nice and neat. So, yeah, I recommend anyone who's going out there that's not experienced in electronics and building anything, do yourself a favor and just spend that little bit of extra money to get the right tools. You don't have to spend a lot, but it will take the headaches out of things. It will make the job a lot smoother for you, and it will make it, make it more enjoyable, because you'll get the job done better. You have more time to think rather than fumbling around with little things. And yeah, things like tweezers, magnetic tip screwdrivers, little things like that make such a big difference. Massive difference, having a multimeter that actually beeps when you're doing a continuity test, little things like that. They just make the process a lot more smoother, get you closer to the outcome, which is what we want. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that collaboration, and with what Clint said about it and the sound demo. I thought that was really cool. I checked out the video that Clint posted on the YouTube video with all the different guitars. I had no idea you had that many guitars there. I guess some of them are leashes as well, but it's like your own little mini museum there. It's really, really cool. Really enjoyed it, so thank you very much. What's next on my list here? Collaboration, the Hey You. by Comfortably Dumb, I believe, collaboration. 9 people, it's amazing. Now I have to say, unfortunately, like, I was asked by one of the people on there if I could possibly help them out with something. I think I volunteered actually, which was with the acoustic arpeggiated part. Sad to say, I couldn't do it. It was so frustrating. I just couldn't get the finger, I couldn't get it smooth. Like, I could play the part, but I couldn't make each sort of chord change blend with each other. Lucky Doug found out it was Nashville tuning, because I just gave up, to be honest. I was like, this isn't happening. I was about to post up on the forum, look, I can't do this, guys. And luckily, Doug saved my ass. So, thank you, Doug. Thank you for doing that. Because it was just so hard to get smooth. And, yeah, I just couldn't do it, to be honest. That song turned out really, really well. I remember when I first found out it was released, I was listening to it probably about 5 times in a row. I really like the way it came together, everyone's contributions. I really like Steve Clark's voice on that there. Steve Clark has come a very long way from the first recordings that I heard of him. And I was very, very impressed with the whole production. It's really, really cool. The solos, Dave Mack solos, everything. The bass at the beginning sounds nice, that sort of thing. Drums, rhythm, it's all just fantastic. So congratulations to everybody who was on that project. You know, you guys really deserve it, because it was a really cool track. So what else is next here? Collaboration CDs, let's just top it off with that, because I've been talking for way too long. I'm looking for a CD, if anyone can find it. I don't think it is here in some of my CD collections, which nobody really uses anymore. But the collaboration CD that I wanted to talk about, I wonder where it is. I wonder if one of the friends has stolen it. And again, who listens to CDs anymore? Man, I sound old. So, Roadrunner United. Go out and get that. Roadrunner record labels, metal. They've got a whole bunch of different people to collaborate. Whole bunch of different people. And all different types of bands on the label. And it is a phenomenal album. Some of it's absolute rubbish, but most of it's pretty good. And, oh, here it is. Roadrunner United, oh, it's a bit dusty. There you go. United All-Star Session. Really, really cool CD, 18 tracks, stupidly thick book that tells you about all the artists and that sort of thing, double CD, and yeah, highly recommended, guys. Check it out. If you don't want to pay for it, we all know how to get stuff off the internet for free, but I do still buy the CDs. I buy CDs of bands that I really like. The rest of them can go get stuff. So anyway, guys, until next time, look forward. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. Really looking forward to the release of the next Bliss album. That should be really exciting. But until then, guys, Bliss on.